You can order the CV axle used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Turn your engine off and set the parking brake. Loosen the wheel lug nuts on the side of the CV axle you want to replace. In order to change the CV axle on your vehicle, you need to remove the wheel to loosen the nut at the end of the transmission. Lift the front of your vehicle. We strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Nissan Altima safely before carrying out this step. Place the vehicle on the jack stands. You can now remove the wheel. Don't forget to put the wheel under the vehicle. If your vehicle is equipped with aluminum rims, you will need to remove the wheel first before you can remove the central rim cover. Unfold the pin at the end of the transmission with pliers. Then remove it using a screwdriver. Remove the nut cover from the wheel hub.
Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. If you enjoy this video and want to support us, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, back to work.
Put the wheel back in place. We recommend loosening the nut on the end of the transmission once the vehicle is on the ground. Use a breaker bar and a 32mm socket to unblock the nut on the end of the transmission. Once the nut at the end of the transmission is loose, rest your vehicle on the jack stands and remove the wheel again. You can now finish unscrewing the nut at the end of the transmission. Next, using a ratchet, a 21mm socket, and a 21mm wrench to prevent the bolt from rotating, unscrew the strut foot nuts. Then remove the bolts. You can use a plastic mallet. Separate the strut foot from the wheel knuckle. The wheel knuckle is now free. Place it on a raised element so as not to pull on the various parts. Unclip the ABS sensor cable from each side of the strut foot. Then, using a flathead screwdriver, remove the brake hose retaining clip. Next, remove the hose. Then, shift the wheel knuckle by disengaging it from the front CV axle. It is now necessary to release the CV axle. Use a crowbar to pry the CV axle out of the gearbox. Then, pull the CV axle out completely. It might prove difficult to extract. You can order the CV axle used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Take the new CV axle and unscrew the nut supplied with it. Reinsert the CV axle into the gearbox. Take your time, using the technique shown in the video. Make sure the CV axle is properly inserted into the gearbox.
If you want to know which parts and tools we use in this video, just check the description and you'll find everything you need.
Fully reinsert the CV axle into the wheel hub assembly. Insert the wheel knuckle into the strut foot. Replace the bolts. Screw the strut foot nuts back on until they make contact. Using a ratchet, a 21mm socket, and a 21mm wrench to prevent the bolt from rotating. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Put the brake hose back in place. Then put the retaining clip back in place. You can use a pin punch and a hammer to help you. Replace the ABS sensor cable in its slots. Remove the raised element. Roughly put the hub nut back in place. Then you will be able to put the wheel back on your vehicle. Put your car back on the ground.
For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now.
Finish tightening the hub nut once the vehicle is on the ground using a torque wrench. You can then complete the second hub nut tightening phase by adding angular clamping. You can draw visual markers on the nut or your rim to better visualize the stroke of your wrench. Raise the front of your vehicle again. Remove the wheel. Use the new nut cover and pin provided in the kit. Put the cover back on the nut. Take the cotter pin and fit it. Use a screwdriver to bend the cotter pin. Put the central rim cover back on. Then you will be able to put the wheel back on your vehicle. Put your vehicle back on the ground before properly fixing the wheel in place. Operation complete.
Quality parts, priced right, CarParts.com.